Reality is not a fixed event. It is a mechanism. And like any mechanism, it comes with an operations manual. For centuries, this manual has been fragmented, hidden behind symbols, and shrouded in mysticism to protect it from the eyes of those who were not ready to use it. It is known as the Hermetic philosophy, masterfully condensed in the Kybalion. But make no mistake, this is not philosophy for academic debate. It is the source code of existence. The immense majority of humanity lives under a collective hypnosis. The superstitious belief that the external world is solid, unmoving, and authoritarian. They live as effects of external causes, moved across the board of life like pawns, reacting to the weather, the economy, and the opinions of others. This is not living, it is sleepwalking. It is the passive existence within a simulation they do not control. This audiobook breaks that trance. What you have before you is the decoding of the mental transmutation protocols. We will strip these ancient principles of their mystical veil to reveal their true nature. They are laws of higher physics. They are the engineering tools necessary to hack the illusion of matter and bend reality to your will. You will learn that alchemy was never about converting metals in dark laboratories. The true alchemist is one who knows how to transmute dense mental vibrations, the lead of fear, scarcity, and disease, into elevated frequencies, the gold of power, wealth, and vitality. You will understand that the mind is the sole cause, and that the physical universe is simply the delayed effect. You will discover how to polarize your emotions at will, how to neutralize the pendulum of suffering, and how to generate new realities using the law of mental gender. This knowledge has been called forbidden because it grants an unfair advantage to the one who practices it. Once you understand the mechanics of the illusion, you can no longer be controlled by it. You stop being the dreamed and become the lucid dreamer. The manual has been opened. The seals have been broken. Prepare to rewrite the rules of the game. Chapter 1. The universe is mental. Stop for a moment. Look around you. Touch the nearest surface. Feel its hardness, its temperature, its texture. Your senses scream that this is real. They tell you it is solid. Your senses are lying to you. What you are touching is not matter. It is energy. And that energy is not chaotic, it is information. Modern quantum physics, after centuries of digging into the atom, has arrived at the same terrifying and marvelous conclusion that Hermes Trismegistus taught millennia ago: matter does not exist. If you magnify that solid object millions of times, you will see that the atom is 99.9999% empty space. And the minuscule particle that remains is not a thing. It is a fluctuation of energy, a vortex of vibration that appears and disappears. The physical universe is a ghost. It is a hologram of exquisite density, designed to appear solid. So what holds it together? What makes that void appear as a chair, a mountain, or your body? What holds the universe together is the mind. The fundamental substance of the universe is not atoms, it is consciousness. Everything you see, touch, and experience is condensed thought. Reality is not a construction of bricks. It is a construction of ideas. You live within a great mind. Understanding this changes the rules of the game completely. If the universe were material, you would be limited by the laws of Newtonian physics, action, reaction, inertia, gravity. But if the universe is mental, then you are operating under the laws of cosmic psychology. Imagine you are dreaming. In your dream, you can see a mountain, touch it, climb it, it looks solid. If you hit yourself against it, it hurts. But what is that dream mountain made of? It is not made of rocks. It is made of your own mind. It is a thought you have held with such clarity that it has become tangible to you. The moment you realize you are dreaming, you become lucid. The mountain loses its authority over you. You know that if you change your mind, the mountain must change, move, or disappear. The Kybalion reveals to you that real life is no different. It is just a denser, more shared, and more stable dream. But it is still a dream. It is still mental. The chair, the house, the money, your body, are thoughts of the universal mind that have densified. This means that reality is not fixed. It is plastic. The solidity of your problems, your debt, your illness, your loneliness, is only an optical illusion. They appear solid because you have kept the thought of them fixed and constant. But the moment you understand that they are mental, you reclaim your sovereignty. Mind can change mind. You don't need picks or shovels to move a mental mountain. You need transmutation. The all and you, the fractal relationship. Here is where most people get lost. They say, okay, the universe is mental, but it's the mind of God, the all, not mine. I am small. My mind cannot move the table. The Kybalion teaches a subtle and powerful truth. You are not separate from the all. Your mind is a fractal of the universal mind. You are made of the same substance. As above, so below, which we will see in the next chapter. You have the same creative power, though to a lesser degree as the source that created you. You are a center of thought within the great mind, and you have absolute dominion over your own personal universe. Your life, your body, your circumstances, your immediate environment is your own reality bubble within the great mind, and inside that bubble, you are the thinker. Your thoughts are not private events that happen inside your skull and dissipate into nothingness. Your thoughts are acts of architecture. Every time you think, you are reorganizing the mental substance of your universe. Every belief you hold is a beam you place in the structure of your reality. The reason you cannot move the table with your mind yet is not because the table is more real than you. It is because your conviction in the solidity of the table is stronger than your conviction in your mental power. You have used your own mental power to create the law that the table is immovable, and the universe, obedient to your mind, keeps it immovable. You are a magician who has hypnotized himself into believing he has no magic. Why is this the first chapter? Why is it the foundation of forbidden metaphysics? Because mental transmutation, the art of changing the conditions of the universe, is impossible if you continue to believe in matter. If you believe your poverty is a material, solid, external fact caused by the economy, the government, your boss, then you are trapped. You will have to fight with material tools, work harder, beg, fight against a giant enemy. But if you understand the principle of mentalism, you realize that your poverty is a mental state that has crystallized. It is an idea, and an idea can be transmutated. An idea can be changed, dissolved, replaced. Alchemy is not about turning lead metal into gold metal. That was the cover story for the uninitiated. True Hermetic alchemy is about turning mental lead, thoughts of fear, dense vibration, heavy reality, into mental gold, thoughts of power, high vibration, free reality. When you change the mind, the matter, which is just dense mind, has no choice but to reorder itself to reflect the new pattern. The universe is a mirror. If you don't like the image in the mirror, you don't try to comb the reflection. You comb yourself. You change the mind. In forbidden metaphysics, there is no difference in substance between a fleeting thought and a granite rock. Both are mental waves. The only difference is speed and density. A thought is mind in its volatile, fast, fluid state. Physical matter is mind in its frozen, slow, dense state. Your physical reality is simply chilled thought. Imagine water. It can be invisible vapor, pure thought, fluid water, emotion, or hard ice, matter. It is the same substance, x'd to 2x'd, in different vibrational states. Your current circumstances, your bank balance, your medical diagnosis, your house, are the ice of your life. They are old thoughts, yours and the collective's, that have frozen into a fixed form. The novice's mistake is trying to break the ice with their hands, physical struggle. The Hermetic master knows that to change the ice, he does not need force, he needs heat. He needs to raise the mental vibration to return the matter to its fluid state, where it can be reshaped, and then refreeze it into a new form. This is true mental transmutation. It is not magic, it is physics of states. It is the art of thawing and refreezing reality at will. The holographic projector. You are the operator. If reality is a dense dream, who is dreaming it? There is a universal mind, the all, that holds the fundamental laws of the stage, gravity, time, physics. Those are the server parameters. You cannot change them easily. But inside that server, you have your own private simulation, your life. Your mind is a holographic projector. In the center of your brain, metaphysically speaking, there is a light of pure consciousness. This light passes through the film of your beliefs, your expectations, and your subconscious fears. And what is projected onto the screen of space-time is your life. If the film has a betrayal stain, you will project people who betray you over and over. If the film has a scarcity pattern, you will project a world where money is always lacking. no matter how hard you work. Normal people spend their lives fighting with the screen. They try to wipe the stain off the screen. They try to hug the figures of light or hit the figures of shadow. The mental alchemist ignores the screen. He turns around, he walks toward the projector, and he changes the film. This is the secret that the elites have guarded. They know that reality is malleable. They know that public opinion, the economy, and trends are just scripts inserted into the collective mind for the masses to project. He who controls the film controls reality, and you have let others put their movies in your projector for too long. Attention, the chisel of the mind. What is the tool for changing the film? How is mental substance carved? The tool is attention. In the mental universe, attention is focused creative energy. Where you put your attention, you put your energy. And where you put your energy, the mind densifies and turns into matter. When you obsess over a problem, you are giving it your attention. You are feeding it. You are taking the fluid mental substance and freezing it into the form of that problem. You are making it more real, more solid, heavier. When you withdraw your attention from a problem, you remove the energy and place it on the solution, the new image. The problem begins to thaw. It loses its structure. It becomes a ghost, and the new image begins to receive the density needed to materialize. The mastery of attention is the mastery of life. Most people are slaves to their attention. Their attention is hijacked by noise, by fear, by the news, by pain. They are unconscious creators, projecting nightmares because they cannot look away from the monster. Chapter 2. The Fractal Hologram, the Principle of Correspondence. The understanding of correspondence instantly eliminates the possibility of being a victim. If the universe functions as a fractal hologram, then it is impossible for something to happen to you that does not have its corresponding file within your own consciousness. Most people live trying to manipulate the below, the physical world, without changing the above, the mental world. They try to change their reflection in the mirror by combing the reflection. They try to cure the physical body by attacking the cells, without changing the thought pattern that organizes them. They try to improve their finances by working more hours, without altering the internal belief in scarcity that dictates their reality. This is failed reverse engineering. It is trying to change the projection by touching the cinema screen. The law of correspondence dictates that the flow of creation is unidirectional, from subtle to dense, from mind to matter, from above to below. If your external world is chaotic, it is because your internal world is disordered. If your environment is hostile, it is because you maintain a civil war in your own psychology. The physical world has no initiative of its own. It only has responsiveness. It is a reactive system that mathematically corresponds to the frequency you emit. The true power of this principle lies in its use as a diagnostic tool. Since you cannot see your own subconscious thoughts directly, they are hidden in the darkness of your deep mind, you can use the law of correspondence to reveal them. Your external life is the diagnostic report of your internal mind. Look at your body. Is there rigidity? That corresponds to a mental rigidity, a lack of flexibility in your beliefs. Is there inflammation? It corresponds to inflamed thoughts of repressed anger or resentment. Look at your house. Physical clutter invariably corresponds to mental clutter. Dirt corresponds to guilt or emotional negligence. Look at your relationships. The people around you are not random. They are actors hired by your subconscious to represent the different aspects of your own psyche. If you are surrounded by tyrants, it is because there is an internal tyranny, self-criticism, that needs external correspondence. If you are surrounded by love, it is because you have established the reign of love in your own mental throne. The Hermetic master does not complain about what they see outside. They use it as data. If they see scarcity in their bank account, they do not say, "The economy is bad." They say, "Interesting. My internal system is running a restriction program. I must locate the corrupt code in the above so that the below corrects itself." To operate this law with precision, we must understand the hierarchy of the planes. Although everything is mind, the vibration is divided into three great strata. The great physical plane, below. The world of matter, dense energy, the body, objects, money. It is the plane of effects. The great mental plane, middle. The world of thought, logic, reason, and imagination. It is the plane of causes. The great spiritual plane, above. The world of pure will, essence, the I am. It is the plane of the source. Transmutation occurs when we apply the law of correspondence to move energy from a higher plane to a lower one. You cannot solve a physical problem with physical tools. Struggle. You must ascend to the mental plane. As above, so below. If you impose order, harmony, and power on the mental plane, the physical plane, by the law of correspondence, will be obliged to reorder itself to match the new pattern. Matter follows mind, as the shadow follows the body. Most human beings operate under a system of inverse correspondence. They look at their physical reality below. That reality impresses their senses and generates a thought-emotion above that matches what they see. That reinforced thought is projected back to the below, creating more of the same reality. You see your empty bank account below. You feel fear and think, I have no money, above. The universe receives the signal, I have no money, and manifests more scarcity below. This is the hypnotic loop. You are a projector feeding off your own film. You are creating your future based exclusively on the data of your past. As long as your mental state, above, is a slave to your physical state, below, transmutation is impossible. You are trapped in the inertia of the hologram. The Hermetic master breaks this loop with an act of cognitive rebellion. The forbidden protocol is this: to change reality, you must deny the evidence of your senses. You must become blind to the below in order to rewrite the above. You must learn to hold a mental image and an emotional vibration that is in total contradiction with your current reality. If you are sick, your mind must inhabit the frequency of radiant health, ignoring the pain. If you are poor, your mind must inhabit opulence, ignoring the balance. This is not madness, it is engineering. It is the only way to insert a new code into the system. You must create a dissonance between your mind and your reality, because the universe detests dissonance and will work frantically to resolve it, by elevating your reality to match your mind. If as above, so below, then you have the power of induction. If you change the geometry of your thought, the geometry of your life must readjust. Imagine your mind is the mold and your life is the clay. If you want to change the shape of the clay, you do not fight the clay. You change the mold. The master dedicates all their energy to perfecting the mental mold. They polish their beliefs, refine their emotions, and discipline their attention. They know that if the mold is perfect, the clay, matter, has no free will. It must enter the mold and adopt its shape. The law of correspondence gives you absolute authority. You do not need to ask anyone for permission to change your life. You do not need the economy to change, nor the government to change, nor your partner to change. You only need to change the frequency of correspondence in your own mind. The moment your above genuinely changes, the below reorganizes mathematically. It is a law, not a possibility. Finally, this law gives us a tactical key for daily life, the power of the small. Since the universe is fractal, the pattern you establish in small things is repeated in big things. As it is in the small, so it is in the great. If you have chaos in your finances, the great, look for chaos in your desk, in your car, in your schedule, the small. You cannot have an ordered mind and a cluttered drawer. The vibration is the same. The initiate begins transmutation by ordering the micro. By disciplining your body, below, you discipline your will, above. By ordering your physical environment, you order your mental structure. By keeping small promises to yourself, you generate the frequency of trust needed to manifest great empires. You use the below, your physical actions and environment, as a lever to change the above, your mental state, creating a new positive feedback loop. Chapter 3, The Scale of Reality. To the untrained eye, the universe is divided into two: what is seen, matter, and what is not seen, energy, spirit. The Kybalion destroys this duality. There are not two worlds. There is only one, vibrating at different speeds. Imagine a spinning wheel. If it spins slowly, you can see its spokes, touch it, define it as a solid object in motion. But if you accelerate that wheel to millions of revolutions per second, the spokes disappear. It becomes invisible. If you tried to touch it, it would disintegrate. It has changed its state not by substance but by speed. Matter is spirit vibrating at a frequency so low that it has densified and frozen. It is slow light. Spirit, your mind, your consciousness, is matter vibrating at a frequency so high that it has become invisible and intangible. It is fast matter. Between these two poles, dense matter and pure spirit, exist millions of degrees of vibration. Your emotions, your thoughts, heat, light, magnetism, all are stations on this scale. Why is this forbidden knowledge? Because if you understand that matter is just slow energy, you understand that matter is not permanent. The disease in your body is simply a group of cells vibrating at a low dissonant frequency. Poverty is a circumstance vibrating at a dense, heavy frequency. If you can alter the vibration, you change the state of the matter. Just as heat, high vibration, transforms ice, solid, into water, liquid, and then into vapor, gas, you can apply mental heat, high frequencies of thought and emotion, to thaw stagnant situations in your life. The mental alchemist does not work with his hands. He works with the frequency dial. His art consists of raising a situation's vibration until it loses its solidity and becomes malleable to his will. Here the law of hierarchy comes into play. In the physics of transmutation, the superior vibration always dominates the inferior vibration. This is the golden rule of power. A high fast frequency has more energy, more power, and more organizational capacity than a low slow frequency. Light overcomes darkness. Love, high frequency, dissolves fear, low frequency. Truth dismantles lies. This explains why most people are victims of their environment. Their mental vibration is weak, fluctuating and low, fear, doubt, apathy. The physical environment, matter, circumstances, others' opinions, has a dense but stable vibration. When a weak mind collides with a solid reality, reality wins. The mind adapts to reality. You become realistic. You surrender to the density. But the master reverses the equation. The master raises his mental vibration to a tone so high, so intense, and so coherent that his thought becomes more real and more potent than the matter around him. When a superior mental vibration collides with an inferior physical reality, the reality must adapt. Matter excites, reorganizes, and changes to match the mind's frequency. This is what we call a miracle, but it is not a miracle, it is the law of vibrational induction. Before you can transmute your reality, you must know what frequency you are broadcasting on. Your life is your diagnostic slide. Low frequencies, the lead. Fear, anger, shame, guilt, apathy. These vibrations are slow, heavy, dense. They create sticky realities, difficult to change. Time seems slow. Obstacles seem enormous. It is living in the swamp. Middle frequencies. Desire, pride, rationality. This is where the majority lives. There is movement, but there is friction. High frequencies, the gold. Love, joy, gratitude, peace, enlightenment. These vibrations are fast, light, expansive. In this state, matter seems to lose weight. Synchronicities happen instantly. Time collapses. It is living in the quantum flow. Your job as a transmuter is not to fix your problems at the level of the problem, low frequency. Your job is to elevate yourself vibrationally above the problem. You cannot solve a problem of scarcity, low vibration, by thinking about scarcity. You must induce a vibration of abundance, high frequency, so that the reality of scarcity dissolves due to lack of resonance. To master your reality, you must understand the difference between a thermometer and a thermostat. Most human beings are thermometers. Their function is to read and reflect the environment. If the surroundings are chaotic, they become chaotic. If the news is bad, they become depressed. If someone yells at them, they yell back or shrink. Their vibration is a reaction to the outside world. They are slaves to external induction. The Hermetic master is a thermostat. He does not read the temperature, he sets it. He decides internally. The temperature will be 25 degrees, peace power. And if the environment is at 0 degrees, fear, the thermostat does not lower its temperature. It turns on the system to force the environment to rise to match its level. Mental transmutation is the art of becoming a vibrational thermostat. It is the ability to walk into a room full of fear and instead of absorbing it, Impose your vibration of calm with such intensity that the fear of others dissolves. This is not passive empathy, it is energetic dominance. When you maintain a high and stable vibrational rate, you become immune to contagion. Low dense vibrations cannot penetrate a high, fast vibration if it remains coherent. They simply bounce off or transmute upon contact. How do you raise the vibration? How do you move from a lead state, depression, inertia, to a gold state, action, enthusiasm? Not by forcing the body. It is by using attention. Attention is the particle accelerator of the mind. What you fix your attention upon begins to vibrate in your consciousness. If you fix your attention on a past injustice, you tune your mind to that low frequency. Your vibration slows down, densifies, and you feel heavy. If you withdraw your attention from the darkness and fix it with steely will on an idea of power, gratitude, or a future vision, your vibration begins to accelerate. The master does not wait to feel good to change his vibration. He uses his will to fix his attention on a high-frequency mental object, a symbol, a goal, a memory of triumph. By sustaining that focus, he forces his energetic system to accelerate through induction. This is the secret. You cannot have a low thought and a high vibration at the same time. To change your vibration, you must change the object of your attention. You must hack your own focus. Finally, the law of vibration explains how desires materialize. A desire is a high-frequency thought. It is subtle, it is fast, it is invisible. Manifestation is the process of decelerating that vibration until it becomes visible, matter. But paradoxically, for that to happen, you must maintain your own vibration high. You must sustain the frequency of the desired reality long enough for the matrix around you to start resonating with it. If your vibration fluctuates, one day you believe, the next you doubt, the signal is incoherent. Matter does not know what form to take. But if you become a constant tuning fork, emitting the signal of your desire day and night, regardless of what the news or your senses say, the physical universe, by the sheer law of induction, will have no choice but to reorganize itself to match your note. Physical reality is lazy. It is slow. It takes time to move. Your vibrational persistence is the force that overcomes the inertia of matter. Chapter 4, The Art of Sliding, the Law of Polarity. To hack your emotional states, you must understand the analogy of the thermometer. Look at a thermometer. Can you point to the exact spot where cold ends and heat begins? You cannot. There is no absolute dividing line. Cold and heat are not two different things. They are the same thing, thermal energy, vibrating at different degrees. Cold is not a real entity. It is simply the absence of heat. You cannot shovel cold out of a room. You can only introduce heat. By raising the thermal vibrations, the cold automatically disappears. The Kybalion applies this law to your mind. Love and hate are not different emotions. They are the same mental energy, passion, connection at opposite poles. Fear and courage are the same energy. Darkness and light are the same energy. Why is this vital? Because it means you can transmute. You cannot convert sound into heat because they are of different classes, but you can convert fear into courage because they are the same thing at a different degree. Fear is simply courage at a low frequency. Hatred is love at a low frequency. The mental alchemist does not try to destroy their negative emotions. He knows that is impossible, like trying to destroy the south pole of a magnet. If you cut the south pole, the new end becomes south. Fear will always be there as potential. The alchemist simply grabs the dial of his consciousness and slides it upward toward the positive pole. He changes the degree, not the class. Most people have their mental dial rusted and stuck at the low degrees. They wake up and their dial is on worry, and because they believe worry is caused by the external world, I'm worried because I don't have money, they feel like victims. They believe that to move the dial, the world must change first. Polarization is the art of moving the mental dial independently of external circumstances. It is the ability to be in a situation of poverty, external fact, and deliberately polarize your mind toward wealth, internal state. By doing this, you are not fooling yourself. You are applying the law of vibration. You are raising the frequency of your thoughts from the negative pole, scarcity, toward the positive pole, abundance. And because energy follows attention, By sliding toward the positive pole, you begin to thaw the reality of scarcity. The novice's mistake is resistance. When they feel fear, they say, "I don't want to be afraid, go away." They tense up, they fight. But resistance is a focus. By fighting the negative pole, you are focusing on it. You are giving it energy. You are anchoring it. The law of polarity teaches you to ignore the negative pole and concentrate exclusively on the positive. You do not fight the darkness, it doesn't exist. You turn on the light. You do not fight fear, you activate courage. You do not fight disease, you polarize toward health. The act of sliding the dial requires disciplined attention. It requires you to withdraw your mental eye from the problem, low pole, and fix it, with divine stubbornness, on the solution, high pole. Mastery over others. This principle also gives you power over your environment. When you enter a room full of people polarized to anger, low vibration, you have two options. 1. Let them polarize you. Descend to their level of anger through induction. 2. Use your will to polarize yourself strongly to calm, high vibration. If your polarization to calm is intense enough, a phenomenon of mental physics will occur. You will depolarize the others. Their anger will not be able to sustain itself in the face of your calm because the superior vibration dominates. You will change the atmosphere of the room without saying a word, simply by holding the positive pole so strongly that you force others to slide upward on their own scale. This is what the great masters did. They did not fight evil. They simply radiated such an amount of good, positive pole, that the evil transmuted in their presence. The first step to hacking polarity is linguistic and mental. You must change the way you define your current state. The language you use fixes the dial. If you say, "I am poor," you are decreeing an absolute identity in the negative pole. You are nailing the dial to 0. The mental alchemist never uses negative absolutes. He uses relative degrees. Instead of saying, "I am sick," the master says, "I am currently vibrating at a low degree of health." Instead of saying, "I am afraid," he says, "I am experiencing a low degree of courage." Does it seem like wordplay? It is not. It is engineering. By defining your situation as a low degree of the positive pole, you are reminding your subconscious that health and courage are already there, just at low intensity. This unlocks the dial. It makes the state fluid instead of solid. It gives you permission to move. Once you have unlocked the dial, you must apply the force to move it. But remember, force is not struggle. Struggle feeds the monster. If you obsess over getting out of debt, your attention is on debt. Debt is the negative pole of wealth. By fighting it, you are polarizing it, giving it density and reality. The forbidden technique to destroy the negative pole is attention starvation. You must starve the problem to death. You must withdraw your attention from the negative pole with disciplined violence. Do not look at the debt with fear. Do not talk about your illness with drama. Do not give even 1 volt of your emotional energy to the pole you wish to abandon. At the same time, you must hypercharge the positive pole. You must obsess over wealth. You must saturate your mind with images, feelings, and conversations of health. By concentrating all your mental energy on the positive end of the scale, the weight of your attention tips the balance. The negative pole, deprived of energy, begins to dissolve. It slides upward. The debt transfigures into solvency, not by magic, but because you have moved the center of gravity of your mind. Here we arrive at the most advanced secret of polarity. Many people believe that to manifest, they must be in Zen peace all the time. But peace is a neutral energy. Sometimes you need power. What is intense fear? It is high-voltage energy. What is deep anger? It is high-voltage energy. The mistake is believing that energy is bad. It is not. It is simply pure energy vibrating at a low frequency. The alchemist does not waste a crisis. When he feels terrifying panic, he does not try to simply calm down, lower the voltage. He does something bolder. He polarizes that energy. He takes that massive electricity of fear and, through an act of will, turns the dial toward the other extreme without lowering the intensity. He transmutes panic, high fear, into enthusiasm, high courage. He transmutes anger, high hatred, into constructive passion, high love, action. Physiologically, fear and excitement are nearly identical. racing heart, sharp focus. The alchemist uses the adrenaline of fear as fuel for massive action toward his goal. Do not waste your pain. Pain is concentrated energy. If you polarize it, it becomes the most potent fuel for your ascent. The most successful people are not those who never feel fear. They are those who know how to use the energy of fear to propel themselves toward success. Mastery is not the absence of darkness. It is the ability to turn on the light at will. The goal of this protocol is not that you never feel bad. That is impossible on this plane. The goal is that you never get stuck in the negative pole, that you develop the mental agility to feel the vibration dropping and, in seconds, apply the art of sliding to correct the course. You are the operator of the thermostat. You decide the climate of your soul, and by correspondence, the climate of your soul will dictate the climate of your life. Chapter 5, The Law of Neutralization. You have surely experienced this. You have a day of euphoria, massive success, and good luck, high vibration. You feel invincible. And the next day, for no apparent reason, you wake up with a heaviness in your chest, an inexplicable depression, or the external world seems to conspire to hit you with a series of sudden failures. You went up fast and you fell just as fast. Most people call this life. The ignorant say all good things must end. The initiate knows this is not chance. It is the fifth Hermetic law in action, operating with ruthless mathematical precision. The law is this: everything flows out and in. Everything has its periods of advance and retreat. Everything rises and falls. All things move like a pendulum. The universe breathes. It inhales and exhales. And if you live your life tied to the natural rhythm of the matrix, you are condemned to be dragged by both the rise and the fall. Rhythm is the law that guarantees nothing remains at one extreme for long. It is the force that seeks balance through oscillation. But you are not here to be balanced by force. You are here to be a creator. And to create sustainably, you must learn to break the cycle. You must learn the forbidden protocol of neutralization. To hack the system, you must first understand the mechanics of the pendulum. The Kybalion dictates a technical sentence. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. This means that the intensity of your emotional or material high mathematically dictates the intensity of your low. If you allow yourself uncontrolled, unconscious euphoria today, extreme movement to the right, you are signing an energetic contract for a proportional depression tomorrow, extreme movement to the left. If you build your success based on cyclical luck or emotional hype, you are programming your own future downfall. The pendulum always returns. It is the law of compensation. Most human beings are puppets of this pendulum. They are creatures of cyclical moods. Their lives are a roller coaster of hope and despair. They believe happiness is staying up forever, but the gravity of the rhythm always brings them down. They live on the lower plane of consciousness. On this plane, the law of rhythm is an absolute tyrant. You cannot escape it. If you go up, you will come down. It is inevitable. So what is the way out? Are we condemned to mediocrity to avoid pain? Must we avoid joy to avoid sadness? No. That is the coward's solution. The master does not stop the pendulum. The master steps out of its path. Here is the secret that esoteric schools have guarded. The mental universe has dimensions. It has planes. There is the lower plane, unconscious, emotional, reactive, where the pendulum sweeps hard, hitting everything in its path. There is the upper plane, conscious, mental, will, which is above the mechanical oscillation of the pendulum. The law of neutralization is not about stopping the rhythm's movement. That would require infinite energy. It is about elevating your ego, your sense of identity, to the upper plane the moment the pendulum tries to return. Imagine you are in a basement and a giant pendulum swings back and forth, hitting you. The average person tries to stop the pendulum with their hands, fighting depression, fighting scarcity, and they are crushed. The Hermetic master sees the returning pendulum and simply walks up the stairs to the floor above. The pendulum continues to swing below. The emotion of sadness or the negative event tries to manifest, but it does not hit anyone. It passes beneath the master's consciousness. The master observes the ebb but does not suffer it. He has become immune to the oscillation. How is this applied in the engineering of daily life? It is called strategic dissociation. When you are in a moment of success or happiness, The master enjoys it, but does not identify with it. He does not say, "I am this success." He says, "I am experiencing this flow." He maintains his center. And most importantly, when the moment of the ebb arrives, when crisis hits, when chemical sadness tries to invade the body, the master refuses to go down to the basement. He refuses to identify with the downturn. He polarizes to the upper plane of will and being. He looks at his own negative emotions and says, "Ah, there goes the pendulum returning. It is a chemical movement. It is an oscillation of the matrix, but it is not me." By refusing to merge with the negative cycle, by remaining firm on the upper plane through will, the negative energy passes beneath him. He may feel it physically, but he does not suffer it mentally. He does not let it affect his self-concept, his decisions, or his dominant vibration. The law of neutralization is the art of allowing chaos to pass without touching you. Will in mental alchemy is not brute force. It is not gritting your teeth. That is tension, and tension belongs to the lower plane. Will is sustained attention without effort. It is the ability to fix your mind on one point, your desired state, and refuse to move it no matter what your senses scream. When the pendulum begins its backward swing, the moment of crisis or depression, the initiate activates the protocol of steadfastness. Detection. He feels the downward pull. He recognizes that rhythm is acting. He does not say, "I am sad." He says, "The pendulum is swinging towards sadness." He dissociates. Forced polarization. Immediately, he uses the law of polarity, Chewod 4. He fixes his attention on the positive pole, power, abundance, health. State freeze. Here is the key. He uses his will to deny the reality of the movement. He says to himself, "I remain. The world moves, emotions change, but I am that I am. My state is fixed by decree." By refusing to accept the reality of the downturn, by refusing to emotionally participate in the drama of the ebb, the master neutralizes the effect on his mental structure. The body may feel the pressure, the environment may shake, but the mind remains immovable. And since the mind is the cause, mentalism, by remaining firm, he forces the pendulum to lose its destructive inertia. The law of rhythm depends on time. The pendulum needs time to swing. The secret to neutralizing rhythm is to live in the eternal now of the upper plane. On the upper mental plane, time does not exist in the same linear way. When you enter a state of absolute certainty, you collapse time. When the pendulum drags you to the past, regret, or the future, fear, it is lowering your plane. Neutralization consists of anchoring yourself so deeply in the present and in your sovereign identity that the lateral movement of time ceases to affect you. You become the axis of the wheel. The wheel spins, circumstances change, people come and go, money flows and ebbs, but the axis does not move. The axis holds the wheel but does not suffer its dizziness. Stop trying to be the wheel. Stop trying to roll with the circumstances. Be the immovable center. The Hermetic master goes one step further. He doesn't just avoid the pendulum's blow, he uses it. The energy of the pullback is massive kinetic energy. It is like a giant wave receding before it breaks. The average person is dragged by the undertow. The master uses that suction, that negative pressure, to compress his intention. When the winter of your life arrives, the moment of ebb, you do not fight to bloom. You use that darkness and pressure to grow deeper roots. You use the energy of the pullback to charge your spring. You know that by law the pendulum must swing back up. And if during the downturn you have maintained your pure vision and your contained energy, not wasted it on complaints or fear, when the pendulum returns, it will do so with multiplied force. The law of neutralization allows you to turn a crisis into a catalyst. While others panic and sell their shares, emotional and financial, on the downturn, you buy. You accumulate power. And when the rhythm inevitably shifts, you are positioned to ascend to heights others cannot imagine. Chapter 6, Escaping Randomness. You have learned to stand firm while the world oscillates. You have learned to turn on the light when darkness surrounds you. But even the most disciplined master, if they do not understand this sixth law, remains a prisoner. Look around you. Look at the human mass. They live in a primitive superstition. They believe in something called luck. They believe in chance. He won the lottery. She had bad luck in love. He was in the wrong place. This belief in randomness is the heaviest chain humanity drags. It is the opium that dulls the consciousness of power. Because if you believe your life is the result of a cosmic lottery, you have surrendered your throne. You have admitted that the universe is chaos and that you are an irrelevant victim. The Kybalion strikes the table with a cold technical truth. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. There are no accidents. There are no miracles in the sense of a broken law. There is only causality. Your current reality is a perfect mathematical equation that has solved itself. If you don't like the result, stop blaming luck. Review the variables you introduced into the equation. The mechanics of the matrix, the invisible chain. To hack reality, you must stop seeing it as a series of disconnected events. You must start seeing it as a chain. Nothing, absolutely nothing, happens without a preceding cause. The thought you had this morning was caused by an emotion yesterday, which was caused by a belief implanted in your childhood, which was caused by your parents' inheritance. The rock falling from the mountain does not fall by chance. It falls due to an infinite chain of causes, gravity, erosion, wind, converging at an inevitable mathematical point. Your financial life, your health, your relationships, they are the final effect of a chain of invisible causes that you yourself have set in motion, consciously or unconsciously. The problem is not that the law doesn't work. The problem is that most of the causes that move you are unconscious. You are a machine of effects. You react to the weather. You react to the news. You react to your neighbor's opinion. You react to your own biology. Every time you react, you become an effect. You become the final link in a chain that someone else or something else started. You become a pawn on the chessboard. The pawn and the player. The hierarchy of destiny. The Kybalion uses a brutal but necessary metaphor. Life is a great game of chess. Most people are pawns. They are moved across the board by forces they do not understand. They are driven by the desires of others, by the suggestions of society, by genetic inheritance, and by the environment. They believe they have free will, but if you analyze their lives, you will see that 99% of their decisions are predictable. They are automatic responses to external stimuli. I bought this because it was on sale, external cause. I got angry because he yelled at me, external cause. I'm sad because it's raining, external cause. The pawn lives on the plane of effects. Their life is a consequence. The Hermetic master aspires to become the player. The player is not moved by the board. The player moves the pieces. The master rises to the plane of causes. They intervene in the chain. They break the link of automatic reaction, and by using their will and imagination, the tools we have already forged, they initiate a new cause. An original cause. A cause that is not a reaction to what happened yesterday, but a pure creation of what they desire for tomorrow. Escaping ordinary causality. Is it possible to escape the law of cause and effect? No. It is a universal law. You cannot step outside the system, but you can use the law against itself. Masters do not escape cause and effect. They rise to a higher plane. By rising to a higher mental plane, they become causes for the lower planes. Imagine a rock rolling downhill. If you are below, the rock crushes you. You are the effect. If you climb to the mountaintop, you can push the rock. You are the cause. The law of gravity, cause and effect, still exists in both cases, but your position in the hierarchy determines whether you are the victim of the law or the operator of the law. Mental transmutation is the art of ascending the causality ladder. It is ceasing to ask, why is this happening to me? Effect mentality, and starting to ask, what do I want to cause now? Cause mentality. The moment you truly accept the law of cause and effect, the concept of victim dissolves. It becomes a philosophical impossibility. If you are the cause of your reality, you can no longer blame the wake. You can no longer blame your past. You can no longer blame your parents. You can no longer blame the economy. You can no longer blame chance. The sleeping consciousness, the drowning navigator, lives in a world of excuses, where the effect, bad luck, is the tyrant. The awakened consciousness, the quantum navigator, understands that the chaos in their river is the reflection of the chaotic causes they themselves have been emitting. This responsibility is terrifying for the habitual personality because it takes away all its excuses. It takes away the identity of fighter and survivor, but it is total liberation for your soul. Because if you have been the cause of your own bad luck, it means you have the absolute power to be the cause of your good luck. If your consciousness has been powerful enough to create a mountain of debt, an effect, from a seed of fear, a cause, imagine how powerful it is to create a mountain of abundance from a seed of trust. The end of guilt, the cause as present. This law of responsibility should not be confused with guilt. In fact, this law is the antidote to guilt. Guilt is the belief that the past, an ancient cause, is punishing you in the present. The law of cause and effect teaches that the past has no power to punish. The past is dead. Your bad luck today is not the punishment for your mistake yesterday. It is the consequence of you continuing to emit the same vibration of that mistake in the now. You are recreating the past in the present by tuning into its frequency. What does this mean? It means you don't have to fix your past. You don't have to analyze your trauma for decades. You don't have to deserve your healing. All you have to do is change the cause now. The instant you change your state of consciousness, the moment you move from the frequency of fear, the old cause, to the frequency of peace, the new cause, you have sent a new order to the river. And the river, by law, must begin to orchestrate a new effect. Healing does not require time. It requires a change of cause. This is the final lesson of the sixth current. It defines the difference between conscious navigation and unconscious struggle. Most of humanity lives hypnotized by the veil of the senses, existing entirely on the plane of effect, the below, the physical world. When faced with an effect they don't like, scarcity, they try to use another effect, forced action, rowing harder, to change it. It is the frantic rower, striking the water, trying to make the reflection change. It is a struggle of effect against effect. It is a civil war on the plane of illusions. Forbidden metaphysics is the art of stopping living on the plane of effect. It is the art of withdrawing your attention from the chaotic reflection and moving it with absolute discipline to the plane of cause. Your job is not to do more in the world. Your job is to be more in your consciousness. The sleeping consciousness asks, "What must I do to get money?" Focus on the effect. The awakened consciousness asks, "What must I become?" Vibrate, so that money is the inevitable echo. Focus on the cause. You stop being a reactor to the world and become the creator of it. You stop being the wake and become the engine. The mental allegory of the sower. Imagine your consciousness is a sower. Your subconscious mind, the mental river, is the fertile soil. Your physical reality is the harvest. The law of cause and effect is the law of agriculture. The drowning navigator, the victim, is the farmer who wakes up, looks at their field full of weeds, effect, and blames chance, the weather, or God for their bad harvest. They do not realize that they themselves have been scattering seeds of fear and doubt, causes, throughout the field. The frantic rower, the struggler, is the farmer who, seeing the weeds, tries to fight them. They spend all day furiously pulling out the weeds, forced action, not realizing their pockets are full of holes, and they continue to scatter more weed seeds as they work. The awakened consciousness understands the law. They stop looking at the weeds, the effect. They pause. They empty their pockets of the seeds of fear. And with a deliberate intention, they begin to plant in the now the seeds of wheat, causes of trust, peace, and abundance. They don't fight the old harvest. They simply initiate a new sowing. They know with absolute certainty that the law is infallible, and that the new cause wheat must inevitably produce a new effect, a harvest of abundance. They know they don't have to pull out the weeds. They know that the new wheat crop, nourished by the correct cause, will grow so strong, so tall, and so dense that it will inevitably choke out the old weeds due to lack of sunlight. You haven't fought the darkness, old effects. You have replaced it with the light, new causes. Chapter 7. Mental Chemistry, the Gender. To operate mental chemistry, you must understand the hidden anatomy of your own consciousness. You do not have one mind. You have a binary system. The Kybalion identifies these two mental principles as the me, feminine, and the I, masculine. 1. The feminine principle, the me, the generative matrix. This is the part of your mind that corresponds to the subconscious, emotion, imagination, and memory. It is the feminine principle because it is receptive and generative. It is the fertile ground. It is the cosmic matrix. It holds limitless creative power. It is capable of gestating any reality, building any body, and attracting any circumstance. But it has one fatal limitation. It cannot originate, it cannot decide what to create. It can only create what is given to it. It is pure potential energy, waiting for a seed. 2. The masculine principle, the I, the volitional projector. This is the part of your mind that corresponds to objective consciousness, will, and focus. It is the masculine principle because it is projective and penetrating. It is the electric spark. It is the seed. Compared to the vast power of the subconscious, the I seems small and weak. It does not have the power to gestate reality, but it holds the unique and sovereign power to direct energy. It has the power of mental insemination. The reason why most people are sterile in their manifestations, they work hard but create nothing new, is because they operate with only one of these principles, ignoring the other. The failure of the isolated male, pure will. This is the trap of striving. People who live entirely in their masculine principle, they use logic, willpower, and hard physical action. They try to force the world. They have the seed but not the soil. They have the spark but not the fuel. The result is exhaustion, stress, and mediocre outcomes. They are trying to create life without a womb. This is the trap of the dreamer. People who live entirely in their feminine principle. They feel a lot, imagine a lot, flow, and wait. They have a fertile matrix, but no direction. Since the feminine principle must create, that is its nature, if it does not receive a seed from its own I, it will accept seeds from anyone. These people become victims of others' suggestions, of the news of collective fear. Their matrix gestates society's nightmares because their own masculine principle is not at home to protect and direct it. Mental transmutation, the true Hermetic power, is the art of uniting these two principles in a deliberate act of internal love. It is what alchemists called the hieros gamos, or sacred marriage. Manifestation occurs when the masculine principle, your conscious will, focuses with such intensity and clarity on an image or desire that it manages to penetrate the feminine principle, your emotional subconscious. It is an electric discharge. The thought, masculine, is submerged in the feeling, feminine. The clear image, masculine, is saturated with vibration, feminine. In that instant of union, a mental chemical reaction occurs. An explosion of creative energy is produced. The subconscious becomes impregnated with the idea. And once pregnant, the subconscious mind needs no further conscious effort. It begins the automatic and sacred process of gestating and birthing physical reality. Your job as a reality engineer is not to do things. Your job is to facilitate this chemical marriage within your own head. The feminine principle of your mind, the subconscious me, has an immutable biological nature. It is always fertile. It is a matrix that never rests. Its function is to receive impressions and gestate them into physical reality. And here is the danger. The subconscious has no capacity for rejection. It has no logical filter. It accepts any seed that is planted with sufficient emotional intensity. The job of the masculine principle, the conscious I, will and reason, is not only to inseminate. Its primary job is to protect. The I must be the guardian of the threshold, the one who decides which ideas enter and which stay out. But in the average person, the I is weak. Their attention is volatile, distracted, passive. Because the guardian is asleep, the me matrix is exposed, and the outside world enters. The fear-mongering news enters and plants the seed of crisis. The critical opinion of a relative enters and plants the seed of unworthiness. Advertising enters and plants the seed of lack. The me, faithful to its generative nature, takes all these foreign seeds and gestates them. Your life, with its fears, limitations, and dramas, is the bastard child of a mind that has been violated by the environment. You are gestating the fears of others. You are giving birth to society's nightmares. Mental transmutation demands that you reclaim your spiritual virility. This has nothing to do with being male or female. It is a function of consciousness. It is the ability of your I to stand firm, penetrating, and dominant in the face of chaos. The Hermetic master trains their attention, the phallus of the mind, to be a laser beam. When the world attempts to plant a seed of fear, the master uses their will to say, "No, I do not accept that vibration. I do not permit that insemination." They expel the intruder, and then they turn toward their own subconscious and plant their own deliberate seed. We are going to create power. When the I Kut will becomes strong and dominant, the me, subconscious, responds with adoration. It is a deep psychological law. The subconscious loves to be directed. It yearns for the guidance of a strong will. When the subconscious senses that the I has taken charge, it stops seeking seeds outside and puts all its immense generative power at the service of the master's will. The sign of conception, ecstasy. How do you know if the union has been successful? How do you know if your I has managed to impregnate your me with the idea of your desire? There is an unmistakable sign. It is emotion, but not just any emotion. It is a specific emotion that arises from the union, enthusiasm. The word enthusiasm comes from the Greek entheos, God within. It is the explosive energy released when the cold idea, thought, touches the hot substance, feeling. It is an internal click. It is a feeling of relief, certainty, and electric joy. When you are visualizing your desire, and suddenly you feel that surge of energy, that shiver of reality, that certainty that it is already done, that is the conception. The mental sexual act has culminated. The seed has been planted. The subconscious has said yes. From that moment on, the nature of your work changes. You no longer have to keep trying to impregnate the mind. It is done. Now, your job is to protect the gestation. Chapter 8. Polarization Protocol. Transmuting emotions in real time. The first step of the protocol is to redefine what you are feeling. The ordinary mind labels fear, anger, or despair as bad. It tries to suppress or run from it. The mental alchemist sees the crisis in a radically different way. They see high voltage. An intense emotion, even if negative, is a massive amount of available psychic energy. It is nuclear fuel. The depressed, apathetic person, low energy, is difficult to move. But the terrified or furious person has immense energetic activation. The problem is not the energy, it is the polarity, the direction of that energy. It is flowing towards destruction instead of construction. The polarization protocol does not seek to slow down that energy. It seeks to reverse its polarity without losing its potency. It is like the martial art of Aikido. You take the force of the opponent's attack, your crisis, and use its own momentum to throw it in the direction you choose. Step 1. The interruption command, the neural stop. The process begins with an act of benevolent mental violence. You must break the hypnotic loop. When the negative emotion hits, your mind enters a feedback loop. You feel fear, you think about disaster. You feel more fear. You must insert a wedge into this gear. The execution. The instant you detect the vibrational drop, the knot in your stomach, the heat in your face, you must execute the interruption command. It is not a gentle affirmation. It is an internal military order. You mentally or physically, if you are alone, scream, "Cut" or "Stop." And you accompany this scream with an abrupt physical action, a snap of the fingers, a sharp clap, or a radical change in posture, standing up suddenly. What does this do? It causes a startle in the nervous system. It interrupts the brain's electrical pattern for 1 second. It creates a gap in the stream of thoughts. That 1 second of silence is your window of opportunity. It is the moment you regain the computer keyboard before the virus executes completely. Step 2. Tactical dissociation, the observer. Immediately after the cut, you must step out of the line of fire. The fatal mistake is to say, "I am afraid." By saying "I am," you are identifying with the emotion. You make it yours, you become it. The protocol requires a linguistic and mental dissociation. The execution. In the gap of silence you created, you change the internal narrative. You do not say, "I am furious." You say, "I am observing a current of anger energy flowing through this body." You do not say, "I am afraid." You say, The system is processing a vibration of fear. It seems like wordplay, but it is advanced neurolinguistics. By becoming the observer of the emotion, you separate yourself from it. You ascend to the higher mental plane, as we saw in the law of rhythm. You are no longer the emotion. You are the engineer looking at the pressure gauge. Ah, look, the pressure is rising in the fear sector. This cold objectivity is what gives you back access to your prefrontal cortex, the logical and volitional part of your brain that stress had shut down. You now have control again. We have executed the containment phase. You have applied the interruption command, cut, and tactical dissociation. I am observing the system. You have stopped the bleeding. You have regained access to your mental control panel. But the situation remains critical. You have a massive amount of raw energy, fear, anger, despair, circulating through your circuits. It is high-voltage static electricity seeking an outlet. If you do nothing, that energy, by the law of karmic inertia, will flow back into its old destructive channels. It will turn into a panic attack, a scream of rage, or an ulcer. Energy cannot be destroyed, only transformed, and this is where the true black magic of self-transformation comes in. You are not going to calm down. Calming down is lowering the voltage, and you need that voltage to solve the crisis. You are going to perform the polarity slide. You are going to take that electricity that was killing you and use it to become invincible. We enter the active phase of the protocol. Step 3. Axis identification, the scale map. Before turning the dial, you must know what scale you are operating on. The Kybalion teaches that you can only transmute emotions within their own class. Opposites are the same, just in a different degree. You cannot transmute fear into love directly, because they belong to different scales. You cannot transmute anger into indifference. You must identify the polar axis you are on. The axis of courage, fear courage. If your emotion is panic, anxiety, or terror, you are at the negative end of the courage axis. The energy is fast, vibrant, electric. Your goal is not peace, that is lowering the energy to zero. Your goal is enthusiasm or courage. Physiologically, fear and enthusiasm are almost identical. Accelerated heart rate, dilated pupils, blood rushing to the muscles. The only difference is expectation. Fierce, high energy, expectation of pain. Enthusiasm, high energy plus expectation of pleasure, victory. The axis of connection, hate, love, passion. If your emotion is anger, resentment, or envy, you are at the negative end of the connection axis. The energy is hot, expansive, aggressive. It wants to penetrate. It wants to impact. Your goal is not tolerance. Your goal is constructive passion or fierce determination. You can use the fury of an insult not to hit someone, but to attack your work with obsessive passion. Anger is rocket fuel if you change the target. The axis of vitality, depression, ecstasy. If your emotion is sadness, apathy, or melancholy, you are at the negative end of the vitality axis. The energy is heavy, slow, dense. Here the slide is more difficult because there is a lack of voltage. Your first goal is not happiness, it is action. You must move towards anger or restlessness first to gain energy, and then ascend to ecstasy. The execution. In the silence of your dissociation, name the axis. Say internally, I detect energy on the courage axis. Current polarity, fear. Target polarity, courage. This simple diagnosis gives your brain a route. You are no longer feeling bad. You are at point A and going to point B. You have converted drama into logistics. Step 4. The mechanical slide, body engineering. Now we apply force. The mind follows the body. It is almost impossible to think powerful thoughts if your body is in a victim posture. Your physiology is the hardware. Your psychology is the software. To update the software, you must first reboot the hardware. We will use reverse biofeedback. We are going to force your brain to change polarity by radically changing the posture of your avatar. 1. The power posture, the icebreaker. If you are in fear or sadness, your body tends to shrink. To protect vital organs, fetal posture. You must break this with deliberate violence. Stand up, take up space. Open your chest, expose your heart. This sends a primitive signal to your brain. I'm not afraid of being attacked. I'm the predator, not the prey. Lift your chin. Look up. It is neurologically difficult to access depressive memories while looking up. 2. The warrior's breath, the bellows. Negative emotion traps the breath or makes it shallow. This reduces oxygen and increases panic. You are going to perform the fire breath or a power inhalation. Inhale deeply through the nose, filling the entire torso, not just the chest. Hold your breath for 2 seconds. Feel the internal pressure. That pressure is not anxiety, it is potency. Exhale forcefully, perhaps even with a guttural sound. Repeat this 3 times. You are oxygenating the blood and eliminating stress toxins. You are venting the system. 3. The transmutation movement. Stagnant energy rots. Moving energy transmutes. If you feel anxiety, trapped vibrant energy, move, walk fast, do 10 push-ups, hit a pillow. You don't do it to vent, that is emptying the energy. You do it to redirect the energy. As you move, visualize that the electricity in your veins is no longer fear. It is the fuel making you faster, stronger, sharper. Say internally, this feeling is not nervousness. It is my body preparing to win. It is gasoline. Step 5. Cognitive reframing, the narrative hack. With the body open and oxygenated, your brain is ready to accept a new code. Now we attack the mind. Negative emotion is sustained by a story you are telling yourself. Fear. Something bad is going to happen and I won't be able to handle it. Anger. I have been disrespected and that diminishes my worth. You must hack the narrative. You must change the definition of what is happening. The "this is good" technique. This is a technique used by ancient Stoics and modern Special Forces operatives. When faced with the event that caused the crisis, immediately force yourself to find the reason why this is good or useful. This is not naive optimism. It is an exercise in strategic mental agility. Crisis, I lost the biggest client. Old narrative, I am ruined, I am a failure. Polarity, fear. New narrative, transmutation. Good. That client took 80% of my time and gave little profit. This is the necessary void for the giant client I've been visualizing to enter. The universe is clearing the ground. I am free. Polarity, expectation, enthusiasm. Crisis, my partner left me. Old narrative, I am alone, I am not worthy of love. Polarity, sadness. New narrative, the space has opened up, the dissonance is gone. Now I have total freedom to rebuild myself and vibrate at the frequency of who truly belongs with me. It is the start of my rebirth. Polarity, hope, power. By forcing your mind to look for the angle of advantage, you turn the polarity dial. You go from being the victim of circumstance to the strategist of opportunity. The energy you used to lament is now used to plan. You have turned lead into gold. Step 6. Vibrational induction, the power decree. Now that you have changed the posture and the story, you must seal the new state with a dominant frequency. You must use your voice, internal or external, to issue the polarization decree. The subconscious obeys commands of identity. I am, as we saw in other contexts, but here applied as a combat tool. Do not use soft affirmations. Everything will be fine. Use affirmations of power and capability. You need a phrase that acts like a hammer shattering the glass of fear. Examples of transmutation decrees. Facing economic fear. I am the source of my own abundance. Money is a game and I am the master player. This crisis is my gym. Watch me turn this around. Facing insecurity criticism. My worth is absolute and non-negotiable. Others' opinions are dust in the wind. I define who I am. I am the rock. Facing total uncertainty. I love not knowing. Uncertainty is the field of infinite possibilities. I am excited to see what marvel I will create from this chaos. I am ready. Feel the vibration of these words. They are aggressive in a good way. They are assertive. They cut through doubt. By pronouncing them with the high-voltage energy provided by the crisis, they are deeply etched. You are using the energy of fear to engrave a decree of courage. Step 7. The anchoring action, closing the circuit. Finally, the transmuted energy must be used. If you let it stagnate, it will rot again and turn into anxiety. You must perform an immediate physical action that corresponds to the new polarity. If you have transmuted fear into courage, make the call you were dreading. Do it now with trembling hands if necessary, but do it. Action consumes the adrenaline and solidifies the new state. If you have transmuted anger into determination, sit down and write the business plan or clean your house or finish the pending project. Use the fire to work. If you have transmuted sadness into self-care, take a cold shower, go for a run or cook a nutritious meal. Action is the seal on the letter of transmutation. It tells your subconscious, look, we didn't just change the thought, we changed reality. We moved. Application scenarios, the protocol in real life. So that this knowledge is not mere theory, let's see how it looks in slow motion in 3 common scenarios. Scenario A, financial panic. The trigger. You look at your bank account, it's in the red. A foreclosure letter arrives. The automatic reaction, your stomach sinks. The thought, I'm going to end up on the street, cortisol spikes. The protocol. Cut, you jump out of your chair. Dissociation. The system is processing a signal of acute scarcity. Axis courage from fear to courage. Physiology. You breathe deeply, open your chest. I am a predator, not prey. Reframe. This is not the end, this is the inflection point. Comfort was killing me. This crisis is the kick I needed to launch my new project. Hunger makes me sharp. Action. Instead of worrying, you take a piece of paper and write 10 ways to generate fast money today, and you execute the first one. Result, you have converted paralyzing panic into productive commercial aggression. Scenario B, the attack of anger. The trigger. Someone insults you or disrespects you publicly. The automatic reaction. Heat in the face, desire to scream or hit. How dare they? The protocol. Stop. You clench your fist and release it. Dissociation. I detect a surge of anger, high voltage energy available. Axis connection power. From hate to sovereignty. Physiology. Slow, deep breathing to cool the system, but maintaining an upright posture and fixed gaze. Reframe. If I react, he controls me. If I get angry, I give away my energy. My revenge will be my massive success and my total indifference. I am too big for this. Action. You smile coldly, say nothing or something polite and cutting. Turn around and use that fury to go to the gym and beat your personal record. Result. You have converted destruction into physical and mental construction. Scenario C, the paralysis of imposter syndrome. The trigger. You're about to publish your work, give a talk or launch a product. The automatic reaction. I'm not good enough, they will laugh. Desire to hide. The protocol. Cut! Dissociation. I observe the doubt program executing. Axis courage, from fear to service. Reframe. I am not afraid, I am excited. This feeling in my stomach is the necessary energy to act with passion. It's not about me, it's about the message. If I help a single person, it is worth it. I am a channel. Action. You hit publish or walk onto the stage before your mind can argue. Result. You have converted insecurity into service and courage. You must know this. Polarization consumes energy. It is an act of willpower. After the crisis, after you have transmuted and acted, you will feel the rebound effect. The pendulum will try to return. You will feel tired. Doubt will try to sneak back in. Chapter 9. The Creation Protocol, the Mental Generation Ritual. To operate this protocol, you must understand that your psyche is a binary system. You are not a single mind. You are two. One, the masculine principle, the I, the electric will. This is your conscious, logical, and volitional mind. Its function is to choose. It is the architect who draws the blueprint. It is the seed. Its quality is electric, penetrating, and focused. It is the laser beam of your attention. By itself, it is sterile. It can have 1,000 brilliant ideas, but without the substance to nourish them, they are just logical ghosts. The masculine excess is the person who thinks a lot, plans a lot, and strives a lot, but never materializes anything because they lack the power of gestation. 2. The feminine principle, the me, the magnetic matrix. This is your subconscious, emotional, and creative mind. Its function is to receive and gestate. It is the fertile ground. It is the cosmic womb. Its quality is magnetic, enveloping, and nourishing. It has the infinite power to take any seed and convert it into physical reality. It knows how to weave the body, how to orchestrate synchronicities, and how to move the threads of destiny. But by itself it is blind. It is irrational. If not given a deliberate seed, it will accept any spore floating in the air, collective fears, news, others' opinions, and give birth to monsters. The failure of creation, sterility and adultery. Why do most people fail to manifest their desires? Because they live in a state of generative dysfunction, mental adultery. The feminine principle, your subconscious, must be impregnated by your own masculine principle, your will. But in most people, the I, the will, is weak, distracted, impotent. It does not protect its internal partner. Therefore, the me, the subconscious, which must create by nature, opens up to strangers. It allows itself to be fertilized by the fear from the news, the criticism from the neighbor, the programming of scarcity. You are gestating children that are not your own. You are giving birth to the nightmares of others. Sterility from coldness. Others try to manifest with pure logic. They repeat cold affirmations, I am rich, but there is no emotion, there is no penetration. The thought, seed, stays on the surface of the mind. It does not enter the emotional matrix. It is like throwing seeds onto asphalt. There is no conception because there is no vibrational union. The mechanics of conception, the click. The creation protocol is the ritual to correct this. It is the art of deliberately uniting your clearest thought with your most intense emotion to provoke a conception. How do you know when conception has occurred? There is an unmistakable sign. Occultists call it the click. Science calls it the eureka moment, or the state of flow. It is an explosion of energy. You go from trying to visualize to feeling that it is real. You feel a shiver, an expansion in the chest, a sudden certainty, a deep relief, or an electric enthusiasm. In that microsecond, the energy has changed state. The thought has become liquid and has entered the matrix. The seed has broken its shell. The subconscious has said, accepted. From that moment on, you are no longer seeking the reality. You are waiting for its birth. The work of force is over. The work of gestation begins. You now enter the generation laboratory. This is not an exercise in relaxation. It is an active protocol of psychosexual engineering. We are going to use the same energy that creates biological life, but sublimated and directed towards the creation of events and circumstances. This is the mental insemination ritual, step by step. Phase 1. Frequency isolation, preparing the bridal chamber. No conception happens in the middle of a crowd. Intimacy is a physical and metaphysical requirement for generation. Your subconscious mind, the feminine principle, is shy and reserved. It will not open up if it senses the presence of intruders. Who are the intruders? The sensory data from the external world and the critical noise of your own intellect. The first step is to close the doors of the laboratory. You must induce a state of voluntary sensory deprivation. The shutdown protocol. The physical environment. Seek darkness. Light stimulates the optic nerve and keeps the brain in beta waves, alert in defense. You need alpha or theta waves, trance, reception. Turn off the lights or use a blindfold. Silence must be absolute or controlled with binaural frequencies. Radical immobility. Physical movement disperses energy. To accumulate the necessary charge for mental insemination, the body must become a statue. Lie down or sit and commit to not moving a muscle. When the body stays still, the energy normally used for motility is released and becomes available to the mind. Rhythmic breathing, the metronome. Use the law of rhythm to seduce your brain. Breathe in a square pattern. 4 seconds inhale, 4 hold, 4 exhale, 4 empty. This monotonous rhythm bores the logical guardian. It tells the nervous system there is no danger. When logic falls asleep, the subconscious matrix opens. You must remain in this phase until you feel the physical symptom of the change in state. A sense of heaviness in the limbs, a disconnection from your body size, or a feeling of floating. Now, the chamber is ready. Phase 2, forging the seed, the high-definition hologram. Now that you have access, the masculine principle, your will, must present its offering. It must present the seed. The fatal mistake of most is presenting a flawed seed, a vague thought, a verbal phrase, I want to be rich, or a static, blurry image. The subconscious is not aroused by abstractions. It needs sensory details, it needs a hologram. You must construct the end scene. Do not visualize the how, the process. Visualize the what, the consumed result. But you must do so with surgical precision. The pixel resolution technique. Imagine you have a camera lens in your mind. Visual focus. Bring the image of your fulfilled desire. Do not watch it like a movie on a distant screen. Step into the screen. See it through your own eyes, first person. Look at your own hands in the scene. What are they touching? Increase the brightness. Increase the contrast. See the details, the texture of the table, the color of the wall, the reflection of the light. The sharper the image, the more potent the seed. Auditory anchor. What is heard in this reality? Not silence. Do you hear the traffic of a new city? Do you hear the voice of a friend congratulating you? Do you hear the sound of the sea? Introduce a specific sound and make it real. Tactile touch. This is the strongest detonator. In your mind, touch something. Feel the coolness of a gold ring, the texture of a paper contract, the warmth of a hand. The sense of touch in imagination is what convinces the brain that the experience is three-dimensional. Construct this scene, polish it. Make it short, about 5 to 10 seconds, a loop you can repeat. This is your divine seed. It is a compressed information packet ready to be downloaded. Phase 3. The energetic charge, the emotional aphrodisiac. You have the chamber, the state, and the seed, the image, but the image alone is cold, it is a corpse. For life to be generated, it needs heat. It needs the spark of life. That spark is elevated emotion. This is where intellectuals fail. They think reality, but they do not feel it, and a cold matrix does not conceive. You must artificially generate a surge of emotional energy that saturates the image. The alchemy of vibrational excitation. How do you generate emotion at will? Do not seek the logical emotion, being happy. Seek the visceral emotion. The memory trick. If you cannot generate the emotion from scratch, use a memory. Recall the most ecstatic, triumphant, or loving moment of your life. Relive it. Feel the heart accelerate, the skin tingle. The transfer. Once you have lit that fire with a memory, transfer that energy to your new image. Feel that same ecstasy, but now associated with your fulfilled desire. What emotion are you seeking? It is not hope, it is not desire that is lack. You seek explosive gratitude, deep relief, or electric enthusiasm. Feel that energy rising up your spine. Feel it filling your chest. You must reach a point of positive, energetic tension. It is the accumulation of charge before the lightning strike. It is the arousal before the climax. Your feminine principle, subconscious, is now vibrating, ready to receive the impression. Phase 4. The rite of fusion, the climax of creation. Now we reach the critical moment, the point of no return. Mental insemination. You have the crisp image in your mind. You have the emotion vibrating in your body. They are separate. You must unite them in an explosion of focus. The moment of the click. Hold the image. Keep the scene of the fulfilled desire fixed in your mind's eye. Do not let it move. Turn up the emotional volume. Intensify the feeling of gratitude and reality. It's real, it's here, thank you. Compression. Now make an effort of supreme will. Fuse the image and the feeling. Imagine you are compressing all that emotional energy inside the image. The release, the shot. Bring this tension to a peak and then suddenly let it go. It is a physical and mental exhalation. It is a deliberate collapse of tension. In that moment of release, you should feel something specific. Occultists call it the click. It is a feeling of sudden emptiness, deep peace, or a kind of mental orgasm. It is the sensation that the energy has left you. You no longer have it. It is gone. Where did it go? It has passed from the conscious to the subconscious. It has crossed the veil, the seed has been planted. Conception has occurred. You will feel different. Before the ritual, you felt anxiety or desire. After the ritual, if you have done it well, you will feel indifference or a neutral calm. Why indifference? Because you no longer want what you already have. The feeling of satisfaction and emptiness is the biological proof that the creative act has been consummated. Desire has died because its fulfillment has been born on the mental plane. Phase 5. Gestation and the danger of mental abortion. You have conceived. The embryo of your new reality now exists in the depths of your subconscious mind. The work of the Father, your will, is over. Now begins the work of the Mother, your subconscious, and the protection of the process. This is where 90% of manifestations are lost. The period following the ritual, the subsequent days and weeks, is the gestation period. And during this time, the embryo is vulnerable. Abortion by doubt. If the day after your ritual you wake up and rush to look in the mirror or your bank account to see if it worked, you have just committed a mental abortion. Why? Because by seeking proof outside, you are declaring that you do not believe it exists inside. You are digging up the seed to see if it has roots. By exposing it to the harsh light of doubt and logical analysis, you kill it. The pregnant woman protocol. You must adopt the attitude of a woman who knows she is pregnant, even if her belly does not yet show. She does not need to take a test every 5 minutes. She knows. She takes care of herself. She smiles with an inner secret. She prepares. She buys baby clothes. You must do the same. Do not look for immediate results. Ignore the evidence of your senses if it contradicts your vision. Walk with the secret. Feel the weight of the reality you carry within. When doubt assails you, mentally stroke your psychic womb and say, "It is done, it is gestating, it is coming." The Hermetic silence. This is a golden rule of forbidden metaphysics. Do not talk about your pregnancy. Do not tell anyone your desire or your ritual until it has manifested. Why? Because by talking, you dissipate the energy. You open the door to the doubts and negative vibrations of others. The wind of others' opinions can cool your matrix and stop the gestation. Keep your creation in the dark, warm womb of silence. Contained pressure accelerates manifestation. Diagnosis of failure. Why didn't I feel the click? If you perform the ritual and do not feel that relief, that certainty, or that change in energy, it means the insemination was not complete. The most common causes are impotence of will. Your concentration was weak. Your mind wandered. The seed dispersed before penetrating. Solution: train your focus with concentration exercises, tritaka, meditation on a single point. Emotional frigidity. You failed to generate enough emotional heat. The image was clear but cold. Solution: work on your capacity to feel. Use music, art, or physical movement before the ritual to awaken your emotional body. The condom of skepticism. Deep down, you do not believe this is possible. Your logical mind maintained a barrier of cynicism during the ritual. Solution: start with small manifestations to build your faith, or use the suspension of disbelief technique. Pretend it is true like an actor just for 10 minutes. The practice of repetition. Unlike biological conception, mental conception sometimes requires repetition. If you do not feel the click the first night, repeat the ritual the following night. It is like hammering a nail. Sometimes it goes in with 1 blow. Sometimes it requires 10. You will know you are finished when, upon trying to do the ritual again, you feel bored or feel it is unnecessary. That is the sign that the subconscious is full. It already has the command. It no longer accepts more seeds because it is already working. That is the moment to stop and trust. Chapter 10. The Hermetic Protocol, Silence and Protection. To understand why silence is vital, you must stop viewing it as a social norm or modesty. It is not about being humble. It is about spiritual thermodynamics. Manifestation works by pressure. When you perform the generation ritual, Chapter 9, you are accumulating a massive charge of psychic and emotional energy. You are compressing the steam of your desire inside the boiler of your subconscious. The goal is for that pressure to build so high that eventually the energy has no choice but to push against matter. Internal pressure must be greater than external resistance for change to occur. The escape valve. Talking is opening the valve. Every time you tell someone about your project before it is consolidated, every time you boast about your upcoming victory, every time you seek external validation for your new identity, you are letting the steam escape. You feel momentary relief when you tell it. The ego feels good, but the internal pressure has dropped. The energy that should have been used to create the empire has been spent talking about the empire. You have dissipated the magnetic tension necessary for materialization. The Hermetic master is a sealed nuclear reactor. They do not talk about what they are going to do. They do it. They keep their mouth closed so that the energy can accumulate, turn, densify, and finally erupt in the form of physical results. Silence is not emptiness, it is contained potency. The danger of exposure, wave collapse. There is an even darker reason to maintain silence. We live in a collective matrix, a network of interconnected consciousnesses. When you have a new idea, an embryo of reality gestating in your mind, it is fragile. It is a probability wave that has not yet collapsed into fixed matter. If you expose that embryo to the mind of a skeptical, envious, or fearful person, a quantum disaster occurs. They don't need to say anything negative to you. Simply by them thinking that won't work, or who does he think he is, they are projecting a vibration of doubt onto your creation. Since your creation is still subtle, that external vibration can act as destructive interference. It can collapse the wave function of your success before it is born. The ancients called this the evil eye. It is not superstition, it is wave physics. It is the projection of a negative or disbelieving intention that destabilizes an energetic structure in formation. By talking, you invite others into your laboratory. And most people are energetic vandals. They will touch, break, and soil your work with their own mental limitations. The Hermetic protocol commands you, protect your gestation. Do not cast your pearls before swine. Do not hand your high-frequency dreams to low-frequency minds that can only trample and tear them apart. Your creation is sacred. Keep it hidden in the darkness of the mental womb until it is strong and solid enough to defend itself. Hermetism is not just about closing your mouth, it is about closing your energy field. We live in an ocean of chaotic vibrations, fear, propaganda, collective anger, others' dramas. If your auric field, your mental atmosphere, is porous, you become a psychic garbage dump. You absorb the negativity of the environment, and your own gold vibration is contaminated by the lead of the world. The master learns to create the Hermetic seal. It is the ability to walk through a hospital without getting sick, to walk through a financial crisis without becoming mentally poor, to stand in the middle of an angry crowd and maintain absolute peace. It is not indifference, it is selective vibrational isolation. The master decides what enters and what leaves their mind. They are the guardian of the threshold. If you do not learn to seal yourself, all the polarization and creation work you have done will be undone by the entropy of the environment. You will be like a surgeon attempting to operate in an operating room with the windows open to the street. Infection is inevitable. How does a mental alchemist walk through the modern world? How do you maintain the Hermetic seal while interacting with a society designed to steal your attention and energy? You now enter the field manual of the operator. These are the invisible combat tactics for moving through the simulation as a free, untouchable, and sovereign agent. Protocol 1. The Sphinx Strategy, the art of speaking without revealing. The first challenge is social. The human ego is designed to seek validation. When you start to change, when your vibration rises, you feel an almost uncontainable biological urge to share it. You want to tell your friends, I've discovered the secret, I'm going to be a millionaire, I'm healed. You want the applause, you want them to believe in you. This impulse is the death trap. Seeking external validation is admitting that your internal certainty is not enough. If you need them to believe in your dream for you to feel it is real, then you have not polarized your mind. Chapter 4. You are still an effect. The master adopts the Sphinx strategy. The Sphinx is the symbol of active silence. It is present, visible, powerful, but it does not reveal its secrets. The tactic of calculated ambiguity. When asked, what are you doing or what are your plans? Do not lie, but do not vomit your energy. The novice says, I'm using the law of attraction to create $1 million company in 6 months. Result, skeptical looks, subtle ridicule, wave collapse due to external doubt. The master says, I'm working on a very interesting personal project. It's in the development phase. I'll tell you when it's ready. Result, mystery, respect, energy containment. Note the difference. The master's response is a smooth wall. There are no hooks for external doubt to grab onto. By withholding information, you create a magnetic void. People are attracted to the mystery. By not seeking their approval, you project subconscious authority. Your silence tells them, I don't need you to believe in me. I know what I'm doing. That vibration is pure power. Vetoing dream vampires. You must identify the reality prosecutors in your environment, those people who pride themselves on being realists and who will attack any idea that threatens their limited worldview. With them, the Hermetic seal must be absolute. Do not share your pearls, do not try to wake them up, do not debate metaphysics with a materialist. It is a massive waste of voltage. With them, talk about the weather, talk about sports. Keep the conversation on the surface while your true work remains safe in the depths, protected by your silence. Protocol 2, the glass wall, real-time psychic defense. The second challenge is emotional contagion. The world is sick with fear and anxiety. When you enter a hospital, a bank, or a tense meeting, you are walking through a toxic cloud of low vibrations. If your aura is porous, due to untrained empathy, you drink that energy. You leave the meeting feeling exhausted, sad, or furious, unaware that those emotions are not yours. They are residue you have absorbed. The master uses the glass wall technique, the tactical execution, physical anchor. Before entering the hostile environment or before opening that email, stop for a second. Tense and relax your abdominal muscles. This centers your energy in your core, the hara or solar plexus, the center of will. The shield visualization. Imagine that a thick, transparent, armored glass wall descends in front of you. It surrounds you. The filtering decree. Give the mental command. I see everything, I hear everything, but nothing touches me. Only truth and love can pass through this wall. Fear stays out. Now enter the situation. When someone yells at you or when you see panic on someone's face, observe it through the glass. You see their mouth move. You understand their words, but their vibration hits the glass and slides to the floor. You maintain your steady heart rate. You maintain your deep breathing. You are in the world, but you are not of the world. This technique allows you to be compassionate because you can see their pain, without being a victim because you do not become their pain. You are the sovereign observer. Protocol 3, the matrix fast, attention hygiene. The third challenge is the most insidious because we carry it in our pockets. The algorithm. News and social networks are engineering machines designed to break your hermetic seal. They are programmed to elicit low-level reactions: outrage, fear, lust, envy, comparison. Every time you scroll and feel a pang of envy, you have opened a crack in your reactor. You have given away your energy. You have allowed external programming to enter your subconscious mind. The master practices the matrix fast. This is not about living in a cave without technology. It is about reversing the power relationship. You are not the consumer. You are the operator. The digital hygiene rules. The sacred morning. Never under any circumstance open the door to the matrix, the phone, during the first hour of the day. That time belongs to the creation protocol, Chapter 9. If you fill your mind with the chaos of the world before establishing your own vibration, you have lost the day before it started. Your mind is soft upon waking. Do not let the algorithm write on it. Surgical consumption. Do not enter to see what's there. Enter with a purpose. I'm going to find this specific information. You enter, you get the data, and you leave. You close the portal. The outrage veto. If you see a piece of news designed to anger or frighten you, apply the law of polarity and the Hermetic seal immediately. Do not comment. Do not share. Do not react. Say mentally, I reject this vibration. It is not my reality. And move on. Denying your attention is the greatest insult you can give to the matrix. You are cutting off its food. Protocol 4, the law of non-reaction, the supreme power. We arrive at the core of Hermetic power, the definitive proof that the seal is working. Non-reaction. The universe and the collective ego will test you. It will send you provocations. A driver will cut you off. A customer will be rude. A plan will fail. Someone will insult you. In the old paradigm, you reacted. You got angry. You defended yourself. You worried. Reaction is a leak. When you react to an external provocation, you are handing over your power to that person or event. You are saying, you control my emotional state. You are the master. I am the slave. If someone can push a button and make you explode, you are a machine, not a creator. The Hermetic master destroys the button. Practice the art of the sovereign pause. Between the stimulus, the insult, and the response, insert a space of silence, a void. In that void, remember who you are. Remember that you are the operator of reality, and choose not to react. Note, not reacting does not mean being passive or letting yourself be trampled. It means that your action is not born from emotional compulsion, but from cold, calculated choice. You can defend yourself, you can attack, you can leave, but you do it with a tranquil pulse without losing a single gram of your vital energy. Indifference to chaos is the most intimidating demonstration of power that exists. When the world sees that it cannot alter you, it begins to respect you. And most importantly, your subconscious understands that you are in charge, not the circumstances. Protocol 5, the spy lifestyle, living in secret. To integrate all of this, I propose a final operational metaphor. Stop seeing yourself as a spiritual seeker or a good person trying to improve. Start seeing yourself as a spy in enemy territory. Or more precisely, an agent of a higher reality infiltrated into the consensus matrix. Imagine you are a time traveler, or a being from a higher dimension, your divine I Am, who has descended to this dense plane with a mission to build a new reality, a new empire, a new life. But you are surrounded by sleepers, people who believe the illusion is real. The agent's code? Camouflage. You dress like them, talk like them, go to their jobs and dinners. You look normal. No one suspects the immense power you carry within. Your exterior is ordinary. Your interior is radioactive. Classified mission. You never reveal your true plans to the civilians. You know they wouldn't understand. You know they would try to stop you for your own good. You keep your goals in a top-secret mental folder. Constant observation. While others sleep, get drunk on drama, and get lost in triviality, you are observing. You are analyzing the laws, cause and effect, rhythm, polarity. You are looking for the cracks in the matrix. You are always alert, always conscious, always calculating the angle of transmutation. Tactical detachment. You enjoy the game, eat the food, laugh at the jokes, but you never forget that this is not your home. Your home is the elevated state of consciousness. You do not get attached to the furniture of the hotel. You know you can leave, change reality, whenever you want. This spy or secret initiate attitude is incredibly liberating. It eliminates the need for approval. It eliminates frustration with the world. Why don't they wake up? It gives you an ironic and playful distance from problems. And it creates a natural hermetic seal around you. You are a mystery, you are an enigma, and in that mystery your power grows without limits. The forbidden book has been read. The seals have been broken. You have traveled from the illusion of solid matter to the engine room of mental reality. In the beginning you were a sleepwalker. You believed the world was external, hard, and unmoving. You believed you were an effect of external causes, a victim of chance, a cork in the storm. But now you hold the 7 keys. You know that the all is mind, mentalism, and that reality is plastic before a trained will. You know that as above, so below, correspondence, and that your physical world is merely the 3D printout of your mental hologram. You know that nothing rests vibration, and that you can alter matter by changing its frequency. You know that everything is dual polarity, and you possess the art of sliding fear towards power. You know that everything flows and reflows, rhythm, and you hold the immunity of neutralization, so the pendulum cannot touch you. You know that every cause has its effect, causality, and you have decided to stop being the pawn to become the player. And you know that generation is the law gender, and you possess the secret of the chemical marriage to engender new realities. You have moved from theory to practice. You hold the forbidden protocols. You know how to polarize a crisis in real time. You know how to inseminate your subconscious in silence, and you know how to seal your power with the Hermeticism of silence and protection. You no longer have excuses. Ignorance is dead. But knowledge by itself is not power. Knowledge is only potential. Power is the application. The true Hermetic master is not a monk who hides in a cave. They are the operator who walks through the marketplace, the office, the family, the chaos of the modern world, and yet is not touched by it. They are the one who transmutes the lead of a crisis into the gold of an opportunity with a single mental glance. They are the one who keeps their plans silent while the pressure of their success becomes inevitable. They are the one who bends reality, not with physical effort, but with the precision of a mental laser beam. The world will continue to sleep around you. They will continue to believe in luck, in blame, and in the victim narrative. You will walk among them as a free agent, as an awakened one in the land of dreams. The Kybalion has been unveiled. The scepter of power is in your hands. The only question that remains is, do you have the courage to use it? If you are ready to operate reality, I invite you to join the Order of the Awakened. Subscribe to our channel, Path of Knowledge, to receive the next codes of mastery. Like this video to seal your commitment to transmutation. Share this manual with discretion with those who are ready to awaken. The transmutation has begun. The control is yours.